Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on what part of the world that you are joining us from. You're welcome to this wonderful edition of the IG Live series. Wherever it is that you're joining us from, you're welcome. My name is Seyi Agbede and I will be your host on this edition of the IG Live series. For the benefit of those that do not know me, my desire is to help people discover purpose and become better versions of themselves. That's what I think, that's what I eat, that's what I sleep, just to be able to help people to develop themselves to become better versions of themselves. It's still very early in the year. This is just the second week in the year, so a lot still to look out for in this year. And I encourage you, let's work together, let's charge at it together so that at the end of the year, we'll look back and we'll say, yes, indeed, we had a wonderful year all together. Now, today we're going to be having a very wonderful and interesting discussion. Okay? And what we'll be talking about is the power of relationships. The power of relationships. Now, why is this even important to us? Why is this topic important to us at all? Now, as humans, the relationships we form with other people are vital to our emotional and mental well-being. Now, they usually say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. There are so many quotes around relationships that we can talk about today. So it is important and vital to be mindful of the kinds of relationships we have. It also says, no man is an island. As human beings, we are naturally social beings. Now, humans have an inherent desire to be close to other people, to connect, and to build relationships. If you go back to the book of the Bible, in the beginning, when God made Adam, God said, it is not good for man to be alone. And then he brought a companion to be with Adam. So if our creator, God, understands that it isn't good for man to be alone, then you should understand that you shouldn't be alone. So relationships are vital. If it is not good to be alone, then it is good to have people around you. That's what God was saying. So relationships are vital. Your relationships determine how far you go in life. I heard a saying some time ago, and it says that whatever it is that you're looking for in life, it may be a business, it may be a contract, it may be you want to meet someone, whatever it is that you want to do, the difference between you and that person, or you and that thing you want to achieve, is 5 relationships. You know someone that knows someone, that knows someone, that knows someone, that knows that person or knows how to get it. So whatever it is you want to achieve in life, whoever it is that you want to meet Bill Clinton tomorrow morning, fine. It's the difference between you and 5 relationships. So that's how vital relationships are. And there are also several health benefits of relationships. But I'm not going to be talking about this alone. I have an outstanding personality, a seasoned speaker that will be talking to us about our relationships today. Now, before I bring her up, I know she's ready to come up. She's yearning to join us now. Before I bring her up, I'm just going to read her bio for the benefit of those that are meeting her for the first time. Okay.
Andrea Ekpenyoung is a relationship coach, public speaker, and a best-selling author. She started her career as an architect, having obtained a B.Tech in architecture from the Federal University of Technology, Yola. She is the MD CEO of Andrea 24 Limited, a company that specializes in project administration, design, and construction supervision and production of working drawings. After discovering her other passions, Andrea decided to pursue her dreams, receiving her certification as a life coach, NLP integrated practitioner, EFT, and matrix reimprinting therapist from the prestigious Alushala Landra Coaching Academy, OLCA. She is the founder of Marriage Nurture, a platform where she nurtures couples from a belligerent chaos to a happily ever living. Ladies and gentlemen, with excitement in your heart and a rousing ovation, make welcome Andrea Ekpenyoung.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to have you join us eventually. Wow. Such an honor to have you with us. So,
Happy New Year again.
Yes. Happy New Year once again. Like I was saying earlier, it's still very early in the year. So Happy New Year once again.
Happy New Year.
All right. So I've read your bio, a very loaded bio. So you're very well qualified to be speaking with us today. Okay. Now, just before we go ahead, I mean, I've talked about your bio. I've read your bio, but give us an overview about yourself. Let's hear from yourself now. Who is Andrea?
Okay. Hello, everyone. When Seyi was reading my bio, I was like, is it me? They're reading all these big grammar. So, Happy New Year once again. Andrea Ekpenyoung is someone who lives, who breathes, who eats marriages. So, relationship and love is all I am about. Making sure that the next couple enjoy their life, because we grow up with cartoons, and at the end it is, and they live happily ever after, and nobody tells us what is in that happily ever after. Then we now grow up and get into the supposed happily ever after, and we discover that it is not as happily ever after as they make it. And we now start coming up with coping mechanisms of, oh, it's a facade, it's not possible, it's just a myth, it's just movies that we see all that. But the truth is, it is possible. We just have to work on it. So for me, getting started on this was about 9 years ago. We had gotten married. We were in love, but it just, you have this feeling of something is missing. There has to be more. This can't be all what God has promised. There has to be more. So I started reading, I started researching, I started praying. I needed to know there has to be more. It can't be that we are in love, but sometimes we just don't want to see each other. We're in love, but the marriage is boring. All those little things that come with being married. So in doing that, I started finding the answers that I was seeking. And it wasn't just for me. I just had this, what if I can help the next couple? What if I can help the next person who is tired and saying, oh, this is not possible, and make them see that it is possible. We can actually live happily in our marriages in the long term. So that is who Andrea is about, making sure that every couple that she comes across, I am sorry, I meet couples on the road and sometimes you pick little, I'm like, no, it's not like that, it's not like that. I have to correct it. That's how much I want you to enjoy your relationships. So that is who I am in a nutshell. Thank you so much for having me here.
Wow, I mean, that's fantastic. So if I hear you clearly, it was in the process of trying to find happily ever after in your relationship, in your marriage, and you considered, okay, while you're finding the solutions for yourself, there are other people out there that could benefit from the solutions as well, and you're deciding to spread that there. Fantastic. Now, so the next question I was going to ask you kind of talked about it a bit. So how did people accept what you're doing now, considering the fact that your background is in architecture, you have a BTech in architecture from the Federal University of Technology in Yola. So how did people take this when they realize, I mean, you're an architect, are you planning to start drawing and designing relationships now? How did they take it?
It wasn't, I didn't have that much of an issue, should I say transitioning, because prior to getting married, I was already someone who had books. My library was filled with relationship and marriage books, even before I got married. I would read everything on relationship, on love, on marriage, on anything that was labeled relationship. I was there. I needed to know. I needed to read it. I needed to be prepared. I had to be prepared for the marriage. But in hindsight, I see that it wasn't just being prepared for my marriage. It was being prepared for the path that I needed to walk later on in life. So I had friends coming and saying, Madam, you are the one who is always reading relationship book. Okay, this is my problem. So, it started from that. So I had people that I was giving counsel to even before I got married. So when I came out and said, oh, this is what I want to do, I got responses like, long overdue, you've been wasting your time, So it was easy for me. I didn't have to struggle with it and all that.
That's very good. So even right from time you've been helping people in their relationships before deciding to go into it full-time. Fantastic. So do you have any mentors or coaches, and is there any one of them you'd like to share with us, either in what you do, your marriage, in marriage counseling, or in helping relationships, or generally, is there any one of them you'd like to share?
Oh, I do. I have quite a number of them, but I'll just share a few. First of all, you see, I was an adopted daughter of Bimbo Odukoya that she did not know that she had. I read All Happens. I had All Happens. The NTA used to show it Saturdays and Sundays by 5:30 to 6 p.m. Now I had a church program by 4 to 6. I would rush that program and compress it, then run from the church to my house. So with time, my mom knew that, okay, this program, she's coming to watch it. So she usually would leave the TV on for me on that channel, so that when I'm rushed, she's like, hey, slow down. They are still on. And I come and pick whatever I could pick from there. That was where my passion for marriage grew. I wanted to know more. With all she was teaching, I just had to get more. And then Miles Monroe, again, I read his books. So even when I was getting married, it formed like a checklist for my own marriage, for what I wanted, for is this what I should be going into? And now I have Steve Harvey and his wife. I love their relationship. I love their relationship. You see that they are committed to one another. As busy as their lives are, they will always be there for one another. It doesn't matter. You find Steve Harvey, I know some people say it's because he has the money, but no, it didn't start when he started having that money. It started way before. He had series of bad marriages, and he came to that, okay, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do what it needs to be done. And he started putting himself to do that. So whether it's birthday, whether it's anniversary, or whether it's just a surprise of his spouse, you see him going out of his way. And the same thing for her. Those are the little things that make your marriage work. Of course, I went to the Larry Olushola Academy. So TC is one of my biggest mentors. Like, sometimes you have conversations with him and he's like, Andrea, let's switch your brain and turn this way and you do this like this. And JT too is my big brother, Jimmy Tewe, for those who don't know. He's my big brother. He is always there. He always makes sure that he gives you a listening ear. And sometimes the way he says the thing, like you're laughing, he's teaching you. And it's like, you're laughing at me, but you're getting what you should get from it. So those people have really formed me and shaped me to who I am right now in my career journey.
Wow, fantastic. Great mentors that you have mentioned there. And for the benefit of those that do not know, I actually got in contact with her through the Jimmy Tewe program. We had a mentorship program that he has, and that's where we got to connect together. Thank you very much. Now, you mentioned briefly there that you were in the Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy, and then part of the many certifications that you have, and you're a certified life coach, NLP integrated practitioner, EFT and matrix re-imprinting therapist. Now, for the benefit of those what are we talking about? What exactly are you like?
Okay, so as a life coach, I am certified to help you get your life, give you the clarity that you need to get your life right on track towards achieving the big goals that you want to achieve. So no matter how big that goal is, we would simplify it, help you simplify it, because life coaching is about you. We are just, the hand that is nudging you behind, but you are making the choices. We teach you how to be responsible for the choices that you need to make, and make those choices. And we hold your hand till the end, so you achieve those choices and the whole world is celebrating you. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Basically, how your brain works, how your subconscious works. So we are working with patterns, what your brain is thinking. So a simple example, I'm sure there was a video that was circulating last week, how your brain cannot process not. So you said, I just said not, can't. Those things, your brain cannot process them. So if we say, I will not be sick, what your brain is getting is, I will be sick, or I am sick. That is what your brain is getting. So we help you reorganize your brain, structuring, so that you don't fall into that trap of sabotaging yourself. Because more often than not, we now go to village people. It's not the village people. It is the choices that you are unconsciously making. Your subconscious rules 93% of you. Your subconscious. So when we say, oh, I chose this, I did that. No, your subconscious did that. You are just acting out what your subconscious gave you. So your thoughts, your beliefs, we need to change that. Your environment, how they've shaped you, we need to realign them to who you want to be right now. Now, EFT is emotional freedom techniques. We have people who have been through trauma. We have people who have been, now we're talking about relationships, so we'll get there, being in toxic relationship. We've had people who feel stagnated. I can't move forward. I can't do anything. And it is because then they give you one reason. You know, sometimes we need to go back. Sometimes we actually take them back in time into themselves. So let's say you are 30 now and that incident happened when you were 3 or 5. You know, we go back to that time, that day, that moment, and then we re-imprint it. That's why it's called a re-imprinting. We re-imprint the memory that you want there at that time. So it takes the place because your brain cannot delete. So everything that you have experienced in life, it's still in your brain. It's in some part of your brain, cannot be deleted. So we will go back there. You know, someone says, I can't remember who my teacher was in primary 3. We instantly know that something happened in primary 3 that made you forget a part of your life of primary 3. So we go back to primary 3, see what happened, see what we need to do, and then we help you do that. So you come back here to this time in 2022 and be the person that you want to be. Then as a master marriage mentor, I am certified to not just mentor marriages, but also train people to become marriage mentors. So those are all the certifications broken down.
Wow. I mean, someone put in the comment that those certifications are intimidating, and I agree.
No.
All right, just one more question before we go into our topic proper. Now, you are also a best-selling author. One of your books is The Whimsical Date Nights. Tell us about this book. Maybe give us a short synopsis about the book. What inspired you and what's the book about?
Okay. So that was the beginning of my journey into being a proper marriage coach. Because again, like I said earlier on, we were bored. We were living a routine. Marriage had just become, you wake up, you go to work, you come back, how was your day? Fine. That was just it. Occasional go out or let's go see a movie and all that. There's a wedding. So that was just it. So in my quest for, there has to be more, I discovered that the difference between couples that are successful and thriving and couples that are not was dating. And you ask yourself, if you dated to get married, why did you stop dating when you got married? Because dating got you married in the first place. You wouldn't have gotten married, except for in instances where we had the arranged marriages and all that. But in our world where you meet somebody, you date the person, you move to the next step, you went through all that stage of dating and the butterflies and all that, calling each other in the middle of the night when you should be sleeping, But you did all that to get married. Then you get married and you just stop. And it's because we were not taught how to get married. We were not taught how to stay married. Growing up, they raised you as a girl, oh, your home should be this, your home should be that. As a boy, you should be responsible. You should provide for your family. But nobody teaches you in this marriage that I'm supposed to be doing all these things. How am I supposed to stay in it? So the research of dating and sustaining your marriage brought the book Whimsical Date Night. And every apologies to my husband. I always apologize when I talk about the book because I made him go through all the dates in the book. So some were nice. We discovered new things, and some were damn right not nice at all. But he still endured, So you have to find that's the adventure of being married. The memories that you build in that process of dating is what keeps you grounded in the marriage. So that's about the book. So the book is that couple who is tired, or who just needs change, or who the routine is becoming boring, and you just feel, no, I can't do this anymore. Give it a try, just try something new. Go dating. We have dates from A to Z. So imagine how many new dates. We have a dating calendar in the book also. So 31 dates that you could actually try, different dates that you could try, and you could build your own calendar. And the truth is, they say it takes 21 days to build a routine. So when you do 31, come on, you're 10 days over. So it means it becomes a part of you, and you're not going to do it every day, So that's the idea behind the book.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. So if I hear you clearly, you say, dating gets you married, and dating will keep you married.
Absolutely.
And like you said, apologies to your husband once again. You had to use him as a lab rat to be sure that this thing actually works. I mean, fantastic. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to be talking about relationships today. We know you focus more on marital relationships and all of that, but we're talking generally about relationships today. So, can you tell us why it is important to cultivate healthy relationships?
Okay. So now, relationship, when we say we are going to streamline it, but relationship generally is a connection between two people. It is what they do together, how involved they are, two or more people. So you have family relationship, you have friendship, you have acquaintances, for work. You have enemies, you have rivals. They are all relationships. So it is how you associate with these people. And like you earlier said before we started, human beings are social beings. You are not made an island. You must work with one another. We are actually happier when we work with other people, when we succeed with other people. Science has proven that we are happier at those times of working with other people. Now, why is it important to have a good relationship? Number one, it keeps us longer. We live longer when we have healthy relationship, especially men. It has been proven by science, studies, research, deep research, that men live longer when they have healthy relationships. When they are married, when they are happy in their relationships, men live longer. So that is a key for everyone.
Are you hearing that? If we need to live longer, we need to have healthy relationships. Fantastic.
Yes. And we find that when you're in a healthy relationship, you live healthier, scientifically, because you tend to throw away the bad habits that you have and foster new, healthier habits. And in turn, this keeps you longer. Staying in healthy relationships help you grow personally. Because when you have that person who is always cheering you on, you tend to take bigger risks. You tend to go out more and achieve. The desire to achieve more is there because you are self-confident to do more, because you have a solid support system that is there for you irrespective of the outcome of what you are doing. Now, social support. No man is an island. No man can succeed alone. No man can build alone. So when you have that social support, you have the emotional support, you have the mental support, it builds you as a human being and strengthens your self-assurance. Also, lack of this social relationship again means that your life is cut short. In fact, it has been proven that if you don't have healthy social relationship, you're as good as somebody who smokes 15 cigarettes in a day.
What an analogy. So if you don't want to die before your time by smoking 15 cigarettes in a day, have fantastic healthy relationships. Interesting. Thank you very much. Now, while you're talking now, you talked about different kinds of relationships. You talked about the enemies and all of that. But so, what are the kinds of relationships that we should have? Because I'm not sure we should be having enemies as part of the relationship. So, what are the kinds of relationships we should have? What are the goals we should look out for achieving this relationship, and how do we set those goals?
Okay, so the kind of relationship we should have, obviously, the romantic relationship, the family relationship, the work relationship, the acquaintance relationship. Any relationship does not include rivalry and enemies. It's good to go. So when we say enemies and rivalry, also by extension, toxic relationships, we need to watch out for those also. Before you go on and set goals for your relationship, you need to ask yourself some questions. Do you see potential in that relationship you want to set? Because, sometimes you just jump in like, oh, I like the person. Do you see potential? Irrespective of the relationship, do you see potential in that friendship you're going into? How would that friendship be maintained? You need to ask yourself. You need to know what is going to sustain it. So if you start on lust, you are going to end on lust, because it will be maintained by lust. And we all know that lust dies. So the waves would die, and the relationship will end like that. Are you ready for that? What are your values? What are the person's values? Do they align? Because if your values do not align, you would clash. And so you now probably get into conflict in that relationship if you cannot work amicably to resolve the issues that will arise from different sets of values. Again, where do I plan to go with this relationship? Because it's okay to set a relationship, but where are we going to with this relationship? Where is it ending? Where is it heading to? Is it just, for the moment, or is it long term? If it's long term, what kind of long term? But most importantly, this person I want to set goals for, is the person in the same on the same page with me? Does the person feel the way I feel? Because it takes two to create a relationship, be it work, be it family. The only relationship that you more or less find yourself into without your input is your family. And even at that, you will still build build that relationship individually. So you need to know, does this person feel the same way? Or am I going to be dragging the person along the whole of the relationship? So when you now have that, you sit down and say, what's our roadmap? These questions forms the roadmap of where you're going. You don't just wake up and jump into the car and then the car takes you wherever the car wants to go. No. As the driver, you need to know where I'm going to. You need to know, how do I intend to get there? What route is best for me to get to where I'm going to? So when you have that roadmap, then you set out on your journey. And when you now do that, the next thing is to create an accountability plan. We need to be responsible for each other. How do we hold each other accountable for being in this relationship? And by doing that, you need to be realistic. You need to be factual. Don't live in the happily ever after of the movies. Calm down. What is happening? Where are we? How do we move? How does the economy support this, our relationship? Those are questions that you need to ask. So when you now ask those questions, you go ahead and set these goals. To set your goals, you need to be open, you need to be honest, because when you have reservations as to what should happen in that relationship and you keep them to yourself, it means that there is a part of you that is not being completely open about it. There's not a part of you that's not being shared. So when issues arise, I say, I did. So why didn't you say them? So we address them. That's why you find people, I can't live with this. Some people don't come up and say, this is who I am, this is what it is. Are we making progress, or do I have to go? You need to be that open for you to achieve the relationship that you want to achieve. And again, being accountable regularly. Are we doing it weekly? Are we doing it bi-weekly? How does it work for you? What is comfortable? You don't just wake up and say, so did you do this? No, set out time to actually sit down and talk about it. This is what we said we were going to do. This is where we are. This is how far, what is happening? Are we making progress? Are you doing this? You need to be accountable. And you need to take ownership for your own part in that relationship, because it takes two, whatever it is, it takes two. So do I own my part, my half of that relationship? Because when I do that, I take responsibility for it. Then when it goes wrong, I don't become defensive when I have to apologize for it. In fact, I apologize even before the other party comes and says, this is wrong, or this wasn't done right, because I have taken ownership of it. So you need to set these goals for you to achieve the successful relationship that you hope to achieve.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So you've walked us through how to set the goals and how to remain accountable all through the goals, which is very wonderful. Thank you very much. So you talked about the different types of relationships we should have. My question is, how do you now maintain adequate balance? Because you talked about the romantic relationship. In our workplace, you talked about the working with the business or corporate relationships. We have social relationships. How do we get to maintain all these relationships without one suffering or without one affecting the other?
In life, you have to create synergy, because people often say there has to be a balance. It's difficult to have a balance. But when you say synergy, sometimes one interplays into the other. But for it not to go beyond where it should go, you draw boundaries. So creating boundaries. When you come for our marriage classes, we advise people to create boundaries. We actually help you to create boundaries. We look at the different areas of your life, your family, your friends, your work, even in that, your relationship. And we help you create boundaries in them. The boundaries you create for your family often are different from the boundaries you create for your friends. The boundaries you create for your friends is different from the boundaries you create for acquaintances. So you need to know how to create which boundaries, when to create them, and how to implement them. Because it's easy to talk about these things. When it now comes to the actions, especially when it comes to family, when it comes to friends, these are the people that have been there for you before you got into this marital relationship. So how am I supposed to tell my mother not to knock on my door by 6 a.m. because my husband wants to sleep till 7 a.m., you know? So the person might tell you, okay, we'll do it. But when they get home, they're the first to say, they said I should tell you not to come to my house by 7 a.m. So we have to teach you how to create these boundaries. It is okay. The people understand, because we are social beings. You know, the disadvantage of that is we often don't know where to draw the line as human beings. So we need boundaries as human beings to keep us in check. So that is why we teach people how to create boundaries in the different relationships and teach them how to have synergy. Because when you say balance means that you have to come with 50, I have to come to 50, and then we make it 100. Sometimes I wouldn't have 50 to give. And sometimes I'm coming with 100, and it's fine, because sometimes one person has to step up for the other person. That's what a relationship is. So if we stay stuck on it must be 50, what happens the day you have 10? Am I permitted to walk away? But when we have synergy, we understand that sometimes I'm going to come with 100, you're going to come with 100. Sometimes you're going to come with 20 and I'm going to come with 50, and it's fine. And sometimes you need me to come with 100 for both of us, and it's fine too, you know. So it's synergy that we require in relationships, not balance.
Fantastic. So what we require is synergy and not balance, because sometimes one person needs to give more than the others for the relationship to work. That's very, very fantastic. Now, as social beings that we are, we also have different minds, different thoughts about things. And oftentimes, this leads to conflict in relationships. either in a marital or a romantic relationship, or relationships at work, or relationships even at church, wherever we have conflicts in relationships. With your experience, how would you recommend that we can deal with this kind of conflicts?
Okay. Now, let me say this. Conflict is not bad. Conflict is needed in relationship. We often run away from conflict. No, let's not talk about it. Yes, let's talk about it. Conflict is needed. Conflict, if you don't have conflict in your relationship, I would sit down and I'm looking at you because you don't have a relationship. It's that simple, But how do you manage those conflicts that come? When they come. It's not if, when they will come. Number one, communicate. We cannot overstate how much communication is needed in marriage. Communicate at every point in time. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Talk about it. We advise that you communicate before the conflict escalates. So there's an issue on ground. And sometimes, especially for women, you have this sixth sense of problem is coming in front. So for it not to get to the problem coming, you sit down and have a conversation. Okay, so this is this. This is how it is affecting, and this will be the consequence of this. So you need to communicate with your partner on the conflict that is about to happen, so it doesn't blow up. When you are in the situation, so assuming we did not notice and it just pops up, communicate. You need to take a step back. Am I in the right frame to air my opinions right now objectively? If I am not, then you communicate that as well to your partner. I'm sorry I can't do this right now. Can we have this conversation in 2 hours, in 2 days? Now, you also need to be open to your partner saying the same thing, because sometimes you want to talk about something and your partner is not ready. And because you're ready, it's like, no, I want to have this conversation now. So you need to be open. So to your partner, asking the same things of you that you are asking of them. Also, you need to create boundaries. This conflict that we are in, what do we identify as the big things? So again, this is a conversation you're having before the conflict arises. So when we know these are the big things, we create boundaries. So you come home by 11. That's our boundary. So even when we have friends over, our friends would not be coming home at 12 a.m. and expecting that you're going to come open the door. No, we lock our door by 11. Those little things that we think we just said them, they are us creating boundaries. And those boundaries help us to minimize the conflict that we have. Number 3, stop focusing on the small things. Some things are not important. Why are you holding the remote? Really, in 6 months, will that remote be important to you? So maybe you can just overlook it, So, like we say, major on the major things and minor on the minor things. Don't blow the minor things into the big things. And by doing so, you overlook that the big things have not been focused on. And those big things are the things that might end up crashing your marriage. So don't focus on the small thing. If it is not a major issue, if it is not a recurring issue, you can look away. It is when it now becomes one too many, then. Number 4, no personal attacks. It doesn't matter how angry you are. I tell couples, fight a clean fight. A man told me, he said, Madam, I'm not sure I can fight a clean fight. I said, well, sir, you are going to learn how to fight a clean fight. You can't fight a clean fight. You do not get disrespectful because you're angry. You do not get offensive or abusive because you're angry. No. So you must learn to attack the issue, not the person. You must always remember, me and you together. against whatever issue it is that we are addressing, irrespective of who is behind that issue. Address the issue, not the person. And make time to discuss these issues and situations. Make time to discuss the difficult topics. There are couples that cannot talk about finance without their house burning down. Create an event on Calendly to talk about your finance. Yes. Create an event. In fact, set an alarm to talk about that difficult issue. You see, when you do that, you are both coming and then you have in mind, I have to be open. I cannot attack him, or I need to focus on the big things. You put yourself in a place to address that issue objectively. So make time. It's not when the person is struggling to sleep, you say, can we talk? No, we cannot talk. I want to sleep. That's the only thing that can happen now. Sleep. Or you when you go out and say, let me take you out, and then you get there, you start saying, and we should have done this. No, I don't want to talk about this. I came out to have fun. So you cannot create time and talk about those things. Don't just throw them out there and then it blows up and you say, but I'm trying my best. No, you're not. You are aggravating the situation. You must learn to apologize. Oftentimes you say, but I'm not wrong. Well, that's not what matters. What matters is you have a happy home. What matters is that your marriage is thriving. So when you apologize for the little wrongs, you find out that the big wrongs often don't happen because we have the little ones in check. Get help. Get help. Sometimes you can't do these things on your own. You cannot resolve some conflicts on your own. You need external help. You need me to come and help you, be the third party that says, okay, no, this we do, this we don't do, and give you reasons, and in fact, force you to do what you should do, because sometimes we are stubborn. We know what we need to do, but just so the other person doesn't have the supposed upper hand, we don't do them. So we are going to make you do what you need to do, because our goal at the end of it is you having a thriving marriage. So that's how to resolve conflict.
Fantastic strategies on conflict resolutions in marriages. And generally, these strategies are also applicable for relationships generally. So even if in work relationships you have conflicts with maybe your colleagues at work or things like that, these are strategies you can use to reduce the kinds of conflicts that we have. Fantastic. I know we are running out of time now, so I'm just going to try and wrap this up very quickly. But some people are in unhealthy relationships. They know that this relationship is not beneficial to either them or maybe the person that they're in a relationship with. But they are stuck in it, probably for emotional reasons, probably for monetary reasons. They have some benefits, or there are so many reasons you can think about. How would you recommend they deal with this situation?
So number one, okay, before I get there, some people are in relationships that they don't know are toxic, are unhealthy. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, so let me just give you little pointers that are very easy to spot. When you're in a relationship with somebody and they are overly jealous, a little bit of jealousy in a relationship is good. But when you have that, who are you talking to and why is that person looking at you when you don't even notice that somebody is looking at you? That's a toxic trait. When you're in a relationship with someone who has a controlling behavior, you can't visit friends. There's a limit to the people you can talk to or let into your life or what you can do. Some go as far as limiting your walk. You can't walk. And the reason it's not because they are providing, but that they can control your life. When your partner is insecure, when your partner lacks trust or you lack trust in your partner, and then when there's an avoidance issue, so we know there's an elephant in the room, but we keep skidding around it so that we don't address it, or we close our eyes when we're passing it so we don't address it. Those are easy traits of being in a toxic relationship. Now, how to deal with that? The first thing is make up your mind, what do you want? Because no matter how much people speak to you about it. Until you come to that realization and you come to that place of, this is what I want, nothing will change. Even when you know what you need to do, what do you want? What you want is the first step in deciding what you do next. So let's work with what you want is, I need to get out of this for whatever reason, for health reasons, for your sanity reason, for your life reason, because you need to be alive to be in whatever relationship that is. So if you say, I'm working out of this, get help. It will be difficult for you to do this alone, to leave that relationship. So you need help. You need therapy, because your therapist helps you analyze that relationship, put it in a clear picture of put all the unhealthiness of that relationship in a clear picture for you, and put the consequences there for you. So you know, this is what I am stepping into or stepping away from. Leverage on friends and family. You might need to get some things out of that house if it's a romantic relationship and you're together. You might need to get some things out. You might need some cash. You might be out of a job if it's a work relationship. So you need people to leverage on. Leverage on your friends and your family. Trusted friends and family. Sadly, we've had friends and family turn people back to those relationships they were running away from. So you need to find people that you can trust. And do not feel the need to save that person. That is one major thing we see. That people, especially women, sadly, they say, what if it's me that God wants to use to save my partner? God doesn't need you to save anybody. God is going to save whoever he wants to save, whenever he wants to save, however he wants to save that person. And it has nothing to do with you. That is the truth. So you need to come to terms with that. It is not your responsibility. It is their choice. The same way you decided what you wanted. Then you need to leave. We cannot stop saying that. You need to leave as fast and as far as
that's the bottom line.
You need to leave.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Wow. I mean, it's funny how time flies when you're having so much fun. So as we gradually begin to round this up, you know, Nigeria is the kind of place where, I mean, very many funny things happen. I mean, you can I've heard of the Ministry of Laughter and Enjoyment. We've had so many kinds of ministries. So imagine we woke up one morning and the federal government decided to have a Ministry of Relationships, and you had to head that ministry for 24 hours only. What would you ensure you do with the time that you have in office? So you have the 24 hours to head the Ministry of Relationships. What would you do with your time?
That's a very difficult and tricky question to ask. Because like I have so many things I want to do, 24 hours is not enough.
Yeah, just 24 hours. So you need to prioritize what are those things, or what is that one thing that you must do within the time that you have?
I think educate people on self-love. Because when you love yourself, okay, so the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself, not more than yourself, not less than yourself, but as yourself. When you love yourself, you will not, I'm not going to step into the fire now because I love myself. No, I'm going to ensure that I stay far away from that fire. Now, when I love my neighbor as myself, I would ensure that my neighbor too doesn't get into that fire. When I love my neighbor as myself, I will ensure that I don't maltreat people who work for me or who work with me. I'll ensure that I am empathic towards people around me who I don't even know, my neighbors or the stranger on the street, because I'm loving them with that simple command of love them as I love myself. And because I know that I'm not going to put myself in those situations, I wouldn't like anybody speaking to me rudely or condescendingly. So I will not put another person in that situation because I love myself. So educate people on self-love. It is when you love yourself, you can take care of yourself. You cannot draw from an empty cup. So you cannot be in a happy marriage when you yourself are not happy. You will only bring into that marriage what you have inside of you. So be it sadness, be it depression, be it pain, be it anger, that is what you bring in. So when I take care of myself and I know that my happiness depends on me, I will come 100% to whatever relationship that I am coming into. So self-love.
Wow, fantastic. Self-love, very, very vital points. Thank you very much. So if you could recommend maybe one book or maybe one online resource for people that are interested, especially in the area of relationships, what would that be? Well, and in addition to Whimsical, your book as well. What would that be?
I was going to say Whimsical design. Oh, I wish I knew this. I would have brought a book. It says what to do. I can't even remember. It's an old book, but I find myself reading it over and over. It says what to do before the body gives way. So it teaches you on what to do in my relationship before the body gives way. So it teaches you the different relationships and how to grow in them and how to have adventures in them. Because what is life without an adventure? Man is only fulfilled when he has a goal he's seeking to achieve. So when you always have that adventure you want to try, you want to do, you want to go on, you find yourself being happier.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And I'm sure people will go out look for that book. Now, imagine you had the opportunity to speak to your 17-year-old self. What would you be saying to yourself?
This question is funny because I was having this same conversation with my mom today, and I was saying, imagine if you had to go back in time to some part of your life, what would you do? And her answer was she would go back. She doesn't mind going back to her primary school. I said, no, please don't try that because it means I wouldn't be born at that time. So you can't do that. And I don't want to go back to any part of my life that has to do with school. So I want to go back to after I finished the university. So now you're asking me to go to 17 years. I have to deal with school inside of that. But what I would say is enjoy life. Take it slow. I had this I needed to achieve. So that achievement streak came with a form of perfectionism. So, it puts you in a tight space of, no, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. So, enjoy life. It will all be fine eventually. So just enjoy life. That's it.
Enjoy your life. I mean, if you had the time to go back to speak to your 70-year-old self, just enjoy life. Fantastic. So if people needed to reach you, maybe get more of your assistance in terms of relationships or marriage coaching or get your book or whatever, what's the best way for them to connect?
You can send me a message on Instagram or Instagram right now. You could send me a message on Instagram at marriage_nurturer. Send me a message. I will get back to you. You could send me a text. My number is in my bio. So you could send me a text or a WhatsApp messages and it will get to me and I'll get back to you. Or you can send me an email. So there's so many. The email address is, Okay, so the email address is marriagenurturer@gmail.com. So.
Okay, quite simple. marriagenurturer@gmail.com. So for those that are interested in getting in touch with her, I mean, she can help you architect your relationship. Remember, she's an architect as well. Help you architect that relationship to how you want it to be. Get in touch with her to help you do that. Before I let you go, finally, please tell us, how has the pandemic affected you as a mother?
It hasn't been easy. No, but now let me say, it hasn't been easy, but I think I enjoyed, sadly. I'm sorry, apologies to anybody who did not. I enjoyed the the 6, 7, 8 months, I enjoyed it because so my husband and I, we often work in 2 different states. So majority of the time we're not together. But you see, in the pandemic, we're at home together all that whole period. So I had fun, please. I enjoyed it. I have no complaints at all, as to it. I had fun. And, you know, it was an amazing time for me. I had no complaints, none at all.
None at all. Fantastic. So you had fun all the way. Like I said, apologies to those that may have lost loved ones in that period and all that. But for you, it was fun. You had fun all the way. Fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Mrs. Andrea Ekpenyoung. You've been so valuable to us tonight. You shared very wonderful tips, and even the comments. I mean, everybody's dropping wonderful nuggets. So please show some love to Miss Andrea Ekpenyoung in the comments section. Tell her how much it is that you love her, or what it is that she's done for you. Please drop her. Let's encourage her. Thank you. You enjoyed the relationship more. I understand the feelings. Oh, this wonderful nugget that you're dropping here. Thank you very much. See, everybody showing you love in the comment section, and thank you. So once again, I appreciate you for taking time out of your very, very busy and tight schedule to be with us here to share with us on the power of relationship.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really had fun. That's one key goal for me this year, having fun, and I hope everybody has that. Have fun. COVID has taught us that the things we think are important sometimes are not. So have as much fun as you can. Thank you so much.
Fun. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.